Predominantly, majority, at least 70 to 80%, we will be using NumPy library and Pandas. These two are very much helpful for us, and I will show you how we can use these libraries. So before we get into this one, first thing is we need to install Python. Okay, I will take you guys step by step. Please do the installation on your machine. Is that okay to everyone? Please respond in the chat. Is that okay to everyone? Shall we install Python? Nobody is responding in the chat. Please respond to chat. Respond in chat. Very good. So open your browser, go into Google, google.com. Simply search for something called anaconda.org. Everybody, today entire class 1 hour we will be discussing only the installation part. So we have time. So please respond in the chat. Did everyone got into this anaconda.org? Now you can see when you search anaconda.org in Google, it will be showing you this. So here you can see Anaconda Cloud. You click this Anaconda Cloud, it will open up something like this. Are you with me? Anybody having any problem? Right? Once you come over here, you can see something called download Anaconda here on to the right hand side of the upper menu. You see here download Anaconda. Click this button. If I click this, it will be taking you to something like this, right? So now you can go ahead, come down, scroll down. You see Python 3.7 version. Click that, it will start installing, it will start downloading your file. Please download the file and tell me in the chat that you have completed. All of you, all 13 of you have to respond to me that you have downloaded the Anaconda. You have downloaded the Python 3.7 version. The moment you trying to download, it is downloading a executable file. Anaconda 3. This is the executable file which is getting downloaded. Okay, I'm canceling because I already installed this. Once again, I'm just simply, even if it downloads also, I don't have any problem. Okay, 1% downloaded. Hold on, wait for a minute. Nahush. Anybody else? Yo, Ramya has Anaconda in her PC. Fantastic. Ravikant, it is asking for registration. What registration? Just download the file. No? It won't ask you any registration. Anaconda site, hold on. We'll go there. Okay, hold on. On Anaconda site, what is that you're getting? Did you get into this Anaconda cloud site? Ravi, I am.
ఒక సెకండ్.
Ravi, I'm making you host. Can you show me your screen? Just go above and use the share option here. You see new share? You can share the option. What about others? Are you all done with? Ravi, any difficulty? Ravika? Guys who have downloaded, please don't execute, don't run the file. Please, there are certain settings I need to tell you. So just wait for some time, okay? Let all others complete the download part. Today, bear with me. The whole 1 hour we'll be spending on this. Anybody? Any issues? Folks, no response from many people. Don't want to install Python in your machine? No issues. Download. Okay, done. Good. Python. Python 2.7 version. Good. Okay. I think two more people have to respond. Yes. Good. Who else? No issues. Create it up. Good. Now I'm going back to this one. Then now you double click your executable file. Double click your executable file. So when you double click, it start your installation process. So move on to next button. You see, you are able to see my screen, right? Move on. Then accept your, agree the terms and conditions. Moving on. Then there is an option here, just me, all users. But you have to use just me. Select that option, just me. Everyone, are you in this screen right now? Okay. And now the reason why we are selecting just me, because if you are trying to use all users, there are certain admin privileges that you need to require. Okay. When you go for just me, it is like it won't ask you for any admin privileges, because anyway you have your admin privileges on your machine, especially when you are using the laptop. Generally, if the people are installing this on the office machines and all that, right? Some companies will have the rule of not giving the control of admin privileges to the employees. Until unless it is required, they won't do that. So that is only the difference, Prasad. So you need to click this just me. Then you specify the location where you want that software to be installed in C drive. It will by default, it will show you something. Just keep it the way it is. You don't need to change anything. Okay. The most important thing here is there is a screen. This is the screen, you get it, advanced option. In this advanced option, you need to select this box. Don't miss this. What is this box? Add Anaconda to my path variables. This is very important, because I don't need to explain you what the path variable. I am assuming you all know programming language. If you are not knowing any programming language, then there is something called path variable. What this path variable is, this actually sets the path for the software to access and take the certain variables from there. We will see once we get into the programming what these path variables in little more in detail. But right now, just click this checkbox. Okay, fair enough. Go ahead, Ravikant. You are downloading, not a problem. Okay. Once you are done with the downloading, then you need to execute the executable file that will install the software on your machine. Once you have people who have done this, Ravikant, you may ask me the question, then I will come back to you. But I'm taking other people along with me.
Okay.
Once this is done, you just click this install. It will install. It will start installing the software on your machine. Once it completes the installation, then there is a next button. It will show you. Click next button to finish the installation, so that it will take you to the next process. Okay. Friends, did everybody able to install Anaconda? Are you done with the installation? Arvind is done. Ready? Who else? Nayish. Who else? Tarun, done. Good. Ravi, good. Valika is continuing. No problem. We will wait. Okay. Others, who are all installed, please wait for some time. Please bear with the inconvenience for today. Valika, are you done? Okay, I will continue. Okay, Valika. So now once you are done, okay, once the installation is done, go to your Windows Start. If you look at this here, it will show you the Anaconda. Right? I'm just going to, I'm interested in Anaconda. I have installed 64-bit Anaconda on my machine. Okay. Sorry. Let me repeat once again. Start Anaconda. I need to go for the here Anaconda. So click this here. It will show you certain things here. Okay. So if I go to Anaconda Navigator, click this. Ravi, can you give me the control back, Ravikant? I made you as host. Can you give me the control back? Okay. So, is there anybody who was able to make it? Did you get into the Anaconda Navigator? Start Anaconda Navigator. You need to go. Sorry. Come on. Hurry. So don't look at this. This is something different. This is different. Sorry, I apologize. That's my mistake. Okay. So we are going into Anaconda. You see here, you open this Anaconda Navigator. Run this. Okay. When you run this, it will take some time. It will open up a, yes. It will open up a browser and it will show you certain things in front of you. You will get this screen. Okay. This is already running. Did everyone get this? Please respond. Prasad is able to got into the navigator. Everybody, please respond. This is the screen you should be getting it if you run this Anaconda Navigator. See that the beauty of this Anaconda Navigator is there is something called Jupyter Lab. This is the Jupyter Notebook. Okay. Then the Spider and this Bluewiz, VS Code, RStudio, Orange 3. So there are different packages are available over here for you to run. Anaconda Navigator basically it has a wonderful package management, and it also contains this Jupyter Notebook. So for Python we will be using Jupyter Notebook. Whereas if you want to go into RStudio, you can click this, it will take you into your RStudio. Where here you can do R programming. In Jupyter Notebook, you will be doing Python programming. These are all related to big data. We will see that later when you get into this big data and other stuff. But let us get into this. Launch this Jupyter. Click this launch. The moment you click launch, it will open up your browser. See here, it's home, and it is showing something like the Jupyter, and it is showing you all the folders that you already have in your laptop or in your machine. It doesn't matter whether you use a Spider or Jupyter, but using the Jupyter is much more useful than Spider. Okay, because Jupyter is a notebook. The best advantage of Jupyter Notebook is it is not, you can not only write the code, but you can also write the common text. That means it is used not only for writing the code, but at the same time it is also used for presentation purpose also. Okay, but if you are using the Spider, most of the time it is limited to the coding purpose. Okay, The reason why I'm picking up the Jupyter is basically to have the flexibility of doing the presentation in the code itself. That way it will be, you can write the code anywhere. It doesn't matter. Okay, guys, are you here? Everybody, please respond. Are you here in this screen? Anybody who is not here, please respond. Anybody who is not here, please respond. Ravikant, any difficulty in getting into this? It's still in going on, still in progress. Okay. Vallika, do you have any problem? Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else still going on? Still in the process of installing the software? Good. So now once you are done up to this step, now what you have to do is you come there are this is how now the Jupyter notebook is up for you. Okay. And what you have to do is there are three tabs here: files, running. Okay, it will tell you if at all there are any multiple terminals are running or multiple notebooks are running. Okay, and are there any clusters which are actually parallelly going on, that also it will show you here. So generally most of the time we'll be using the files here. Okay, and onto your right hand side you see there's something called upload. The above, if you want to go out of the Jupyter, you can simply quit. Okay, once you quit, what it does is it stops the Jupyter server. So right now you are connected to the Jupyter server, but if you simply say log out, it will take you out from the notebook. That doesn't mean that your server is now you are exit the server. Okay, second time when you log in and you go into the running, it will show you that it is still running. So that time you can click that one and then you can stop it if you want it. But right now we will see all those things as we move along with the coding process. But right now I'm just giving you some kind of hint because you're all coders probably. Most of you already knowing the programming languages. There's something called upload, and then you can sort these folders based upon the name, based on the file size, based on the last modified. What we are interested in is click here new. It will show you the newer version. In my machine I have older version. Okay, so it might be showing you something else, 3.1 or Python 3 or 3.1. What is the option that it is showing in your notebook? Please respond in the chat. 3 only? Okay, Python 3. Okay, click this Python 3. So click Python 3. Yay. See here, this is your interactive development environment for Jupyter. Did everyone reach to this step? I want this everyone complete. Okay, perfect. Now let us talk little. Let us spend some few minutes about this uh, Python. This is, you see here. Here is the logo of your Jupyter. If I click this, it will take you back to the my this one. Here, if you click this, you can change the name the way you want it here. See, this is right now Untitled 19. Okay, I can change it to anything else. First one, first class. I'm changing it. I said rename. See here, automatically your file name has been changed to first class. Okay. Now, since you are connected to the server, every time what it does is at a frequent time there is some checkpoint that happens to the server. Okay. So whatever the command that you are entering over here, it automatically saves that information. Please keep checking the status here. Sometimes server, for some reason, server may be down, but you might have written the code over here. So you once you see here, now it is saying auto saved. It automatic. If it is not automatically saved, then you will be losing the work. So keep an eye on this. Okay. Sometimes what you have to do is, if the program is big enough, you have to kill the process. You have to kill. You will stop the server and reboot the server once again. So those things we will see how we have to do as and when we move along. Okay. Now this is your menu. This one screen. File, edit, view, insert cell, kernel, widget. Okay. Now there's some buttons are also here. So basically, Python is not only this Jupyter notebook will offer you to run the Python code. Unlike C, C++, Java, once you write the code, what you will be doing, you will be compiling the code to create an executable. So you need a compiler to do that. Here you don't need a compiler to do that, because this is an interpreter. That means you execute line by line, line by line. Okay. So suppose I say hello, enter, and I can type whatever I want. I can type. Okay. And how I run this command? Shift enter. You have to press the shift button and make enter. See, automatically it creates a new cell. This one is called cell. Okay. It creates a new cell, and you see this cell is highlighted with green color. And you just simply place the cursor over there. Then you just press the escape. The color of the cell is changed to blue. Everybody, are you with me? Okay. So hash is used as a comment here. Hash is used for comment. Okay. But if I use something like this, some text, and if I say shift enter, system is telling it is not able to recognize some junk text that you entered here. Shift enter automatically runs the whole line of code. Not necessarily that in the cell you will be writing one single line of code. You can write n number of lines in the same cell. Is that okay? Are you with me? You can write the whole code in one single cell, but that looks very ugly here. The reason why it looks ugly here is data, especially statistics requirement is something like this. For every action or activity or concept of statistics you are trying to perform, you have to verify whether the step is actually done correctly or not. So you will be writing few chunks of lines of code in one single cell, so that it is very easy for you to do decoding. Once you have written the complete code, you can run all these cells in one shot. Okay. So in such situations, what you do, you come here, you click here, this run command here. Okay, you can stop this. There are many options. Okay, If I run this, automatically from here it ran this and it went into the next cell. If you look at this cell, sorry, kernel, cell, here you see run cells with selected below, run cells and insert another cell below, run all, or run all above, run all below. Okay, these are the options that you will be using to run in a kind of, like, if you want to run multiple cells in one shot. Okay, there's something called shell type. There are two types of cells in this notebook. What are these? This one is code, another one is markdown. What this code and what this, see, markdown is the cell where we will be typing the text. We'll be using the, we will be using the various what do you call formats. You can insert some pictures into this markdown cells. Whenever the cell is in highlighted green color, that means this is a coding cell. But when I select this cell and go and make it as a markdown, this becomes blue. And you see cell is slightly shifted with respect to the upper cell. Okay, so here the moment I click here, automatically system converts that blue into green, and now this becomes coded. That coded cell, that means code cell. That means I can code something here. Any questions, please? Here till this point, any doubt? So two things three things you learned. Okay, you just installed the Anaconda and you installed the Jupyter software. I mean, you got into the Jupyter notebook. Now you got connected to Python 3. Okay, in this one, you are able to see the three cells. You are able to see the cells because this is an interpreter language. This is an interpreter. So each cell is, there are two types of cells. One is markdown, another one is code cell. That's all you have learned today. Okay, I'm not going to go further down. Okay, tomorrow what we will do is we will get into the markdown cell first. We will learn what this markdown cells and what all the things we can do. How do we make the headings as main heading, subheading, how we can make the text into like Italian, how do you can make the text into bold, how we can insert some pictures into this, what are the various commands that we will use in this markdown cell. Markdown cell will always highlighted with a blue color. So first we will learn this blue color because this will enhance your style of coding. That means it is something similar to like in any C, C++ or Java, you will be using the comment lines for actually improving the readability of the programming code. Here you can do the same activity in the markdown cell and much more beyond that. That means not only simply write the comment lines here in the markdown cell, it will also, you can write the text, simple text, and you can narrate the story. What is that the program is doing? Or you want to add some masala to it, yes, you can do that as part of this markdown cell. But the moment you go into the markdown shell, okay, and click it, automatically it becomes green. Cell becomes green. That means it's a code cell. So this is what we have learned till today. Okay, I don't want to take you to further down today. I just wanted to teach you only up to this extent today, so that you will be, now you are at least familiar with bare basic minimum information of Jupyter Notebook. Hope this is clear to everyone. Any questions, please? If you want, you can open up the mic, you can unmute and then you can talk, or if you want to chat, you can chat. You can type it. Either way, it's fine. So this is how we will go through the class. Okay, every time You log into, you get connected into the Zoom software. You get connected into the group Zoom group chat. You start asking your questions, because I will be continuously browsing through the group chat as I keep on going through the taking you through the code. Okay. And moreover, in the class, I will be asking you few questions for you to code then and there itself. This is how I teach. If it otherwise, what happens is 16 hours I can teach the Python related to data science. After that, you will forget everything. Now you are parallelly doing this, right, typing the same code along with me, okay, in your machine. I will give time also, so that you can type, you can execute it. Sometimes I will give you the homework here itself, so that some of you can write the code. Whoever writes the code, I will give you the access to those guys to explain the code. You don't need to explain it. At least you show the code, so that I can explain what you have done over there to other people. Because some people may have this feeling, oh, I'm not able to, I'm shy enough not to explain to anyone else. But at least show the code, so that others can look into the code. And someone wants to improvise the code, yes, they can always improvise the code. But first 4-5 classes, we will be listening to my lectures. Okay. So this is how we will go through, and this is how we will learn the Python. If you want to learn Python on your own, yes, you can learn it, but it is very difficult task. Let me tell you the reason why. It is so huge, and there are many libraries. You will get lost. You need to have someone who can actually explain you step by step. Once you get some kind of a good handle on how the system works, later on you please go ahead and explore yourself. World will be open to you completely. I am not going to get into the object-oriented programming part of Python. Rather, I will be teaching you data science related Python. What are the various data types related to the data science? What are the various libraries that we will be using it, and how we will manipulate the data. Once we know how to manipulate the data, then we will see how we can clean the data. Then we will see, once you clean the data, how you can actually draw the pictures, or what you can do the data visualization. How you can do the data visualization, or rather how we can do the exploratory data analysis. Okay. And then if you already know the data science, please go ahead and start using your machine learning algorithms. Is it fair to everyone? Okay. If at all any notes is required, what I can do here is I actually open up the file, my notes here. Okay. In the notes, I will be explaining. Okay, I'll be explaining you the commands. I'll be telling you what it is. If you want any pictures to be drawn, I'll be drawing. So inline also, I can be writing something over here, and then I will explain. I can highlight with the different colors. I will show you what is happening, how it is happening. Okay. And this notes also, we will share it with you. These notes, you can look into that, so that it will become a reference for you. So this is how the class is going to happen. It is more or less, though it is a virtual, it is as similar to as you are in presence. We are actually having the class in person. Okay. Is that fair enough, buddies?